from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Doesn't this look like a brave way to start the new year? Over 300 people plunged into the frigid waters of Lake Minnetonka for the 30th anniversary of a Lark Ice Dive. It was for a good cause, of course, with proceeds going to the Wounded Warrior Project. Courageous indeed. At least the temperatures were better than they could have been. Let's find out about this evening's forecast with Hutch and your No Wait weather planner. Hutch?
Andrea, as is the case oftentimes with warm temperatures this time of the year, it comes with some growing pains, and that was the case all day with a wintry mix of precipitation from flakes in some areas to downright icy conditions and freezing rain elsewhere. Take a look at I-29 near Grand Forks, so you can see the glaze of ice on the snowbanks out there. So area roads and sidewalks coated with a layer of, yes, ice, slipperiness, as you see there on the windshield outside the parking lot here. Valley News Live. A band of snow from the Bismarck area through central Minnesota could accumulate upwards of a ½ to an inch in a few places, as we'll see this activity continuing to oscillate around the valley here and there, hit and miss throughout the evening and even into the overnight. Temperatures are warm out to the west. 36 Jamestown. That's where they got a lot of snow, remember? But it's warm. Temperatures steady to slowly rising. We'll still have a chance of hit and miss freezing drizzle and showers of snow across Grand Forks and Fargo through the night. And one more reminder, Andrea, take a look at this. Jody cleaned out that meter, the gas meter on the side of the house. It was covered with a drift. This part particularly, where Hutch put the pink arrow, that's the regulator in the vent. You need to keep that clear so it can do its job. If it's not, it might not do its job, and that's not good. Hey, we'll have details on your back to work and back to school forecast coming up here in just a couple of minutes.
A lot of people need to do that. It's a good reminder.
It is.
Yeah, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Slick roads gave many drivers in the valley a tough time today, in vehicles both big and small. A West Fargo woman captured this video on Cheyenne Street and 32nd Avenue South this morning when a plow truck almost slid its way into two stopped cars. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with a woman today who says today's icy roads only make her more worried for what tomorrow's commute will look like.
Bush was just trying to show her sister how bad the roads were this morning.
It is like glare ice here, look at how slow everybody's moving.
Not knowing she'd soon be capturing a close call between a plow truck and two unsuspecting vehicles.
It's not good, move lady, move. Oh.
You could see him kind of slide sideways a little and then ended up getting under control and get into that lane next to him. But with the plow on the front, I was just like, oh my gosh, please don't let them hit.
Luckily, everyone drove away safely, but Bush says with temps dropping throughout the night and school starting back up tomorrow, the morning commute is a concern.
You know your capabilities when you're driving, but you don't know the people around you. Is it going to be clear enough? And all those beginning drivers, trying to get to school while we're trying to get to school.
Adding she just hopes everyone gives themselves some extra time tomorrow to avoid any more close calls like this. In West Fargo.
I hope people slow down.
Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
We asked authorities around the valley how many accidents they have responded to due to today's icy roads. We haven't heard back yet. Authorities are reminding you to stay safe out on those slippery roads. This happened earlier today in West Fargo on I-94 at exit 343. Several semi-trucks had to be towed after one of the trucks hit a car and went into the ditch. Although the snow is clear from the roadways, they are still very icy and slick. Authorities are reminding everyone to reduce their speeds, give other drivers room, and put away any distractions. One man is now in jail after a New Year's Eve stabbing in South Moorhead. Police say 44-year-old Ortis Alderman is accused of cutting another man in the arm. It happened last night in the 1900 block of 20th Street South. The 30-year-old victim was treated for a puncture wound that officers say is not serious. They say he and the suspect know each other. A Fargo rideshare driver is now in jail after allegedly being drunk behind the wheel on New Year's Eve. Officials say 45-year-old Mark Kella was booked into the Cass County Jail on a charge of driving under the influence, according to the North Dakota Highway Patrol. Troopers say the passenger chose to do the right thing and was given a safe ride home by law enforcement. One man is facing a DWI charge after losing control of his vehicle and hitting a power pole in Mentor, Minnesota. Polk County authorities say it happened just after 1:30 this morning at County Road 113 and Highway 2. The 36-year-old male driver was treated and released from the Crookston Hospital, then arrested for suspected DWI. He was the only one in the vehicle. A 69-year-old Montana man was killed last night in a two-vehicle accident in Wilkin County. The accident happened about 6:45 along Highway 9 and 260th Street on the road between Breckenridge and Barnesville. The victim's Chevy veered into the other lane and collided with a Buick. The 5 people in the Buick have injuries that are not considered life-threatening. The victim's name has not been released. A South Fargo woman is thankful after her car was returned to her following our whistleblower story. A few days before Christmas, Bonnie Birch's garage at her apartment building along 42nd Street was burglarized. Her car and the Christmas presents inside were stolen. But once our story aired, a viewer reached out to Birch's daughter. The car was found parked outside a West Fargo apartment building, and according to Birch, the car was not damaged.
It was hard when they stole it because I didn't have a way to get around, but now I do, and I'm glad to have it back.
Birch has an anti-lock steering wheel now, and she's changing the locks and the ignition in case the burglars return to try and steal it again. If you need help with an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline, 237-6576, and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. Former commissioner of the NBA, David Stern, has passed away. The 77-year-old had spent the last 2.5 weeks in a New York City hospital after suffering a brain hemorrhage. He held the title of commissioner for 30 years, from 1984 through 2014. Stern's tenure included building the league into a multi-billion-dollar corporation. The former commissioner was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2014. Later on Valley News Live at 6, people with disabilities can be paid less than minimum wage, why some are split on the issue.
And industrial-sized snowbanks require industrial-sized equipment as the cleanup across the valley continues. Today, well, we added more nonsense to the mix in the form of freezing rain. It's icy out there. Your hour-by-hour forecast for back to work and back to school in the new year next.